Speaking at Nakuru Governor's office in Nakuru during the weekly briefings on COVID-19 situation in the region, Commissioner Erastus Mbui Mwenda stated that following inquiries by health workers, Nyumba Kumi committee members, as well as law enforcement personnel and information volunteered by villagers, it had been established the 5 jointly washed up the corpse, dressed and buried it without personal protective equipment and with disregard to guidelines issued by the Ministry of Health on how to dispose bodies of COVID-19 victims. On Monday evening, Mbui announced that 6 persons had been forcefully quarantined at the Kenya Industrial Training Institute Isolation Facility after they were found taking illicit brews outside the curfew hours.
In case of death, in case of functions, let's avoid intense social gatherings, overcrowded social gatherings, and the restrictions are still at 15 from barrios. Any gathering beyond that limit is an illegal gathering and is in contravention of the guidelines given as far as combating coronavirus is concerned. And it is for this reason that we already have 4 people, actually not 4, 5 people, who attended a burial and went to an extent of dressing the dead, and yet the dead was a victim of COVID-19.
Governor Kenyans revealed separately that another 191 persons are being held in various isolation facilities within the devolved unit. He said so far results of 186 persons had returned negative, while 5 other results had not been received from the Kenya Medical Research Institute laboratories in Nairobi. The county boss further noted that it had been resolved that after medical observation and completion of quarantine period, the 11 persons on forced quarantine will be arraigned before the law courts to answer to an array of charges ranging from contravening the Ministry of Health directives, disobeying curfew restriction order, and drinking illicit brews.
We are also tackling the bigger problem of stigma. They would otherwise have been here to probably give a statement or so, but as we all know, there is a rising problem of stigma, that persons who have been confirmed to have this disease, when you finally return them to their community, the discrimination and stigma from the very same community that should be supporting them has not been very good.
Kenyans further noted that health workers have in past weeks screened over 2,000 long-distance truck drivers, out of which 3 who demonstrated symptoms consistent with COVID-19 had been placed under quarantine and were undergoing medical observation.
As we all know, some of those places where they are going across have already been closed because of the high cases. So as a result of that, we consider these particular centers areas of high risk, and consequently we have started screening the truck drivers as they pass through these places, and so far we have screened a total of 2,119 drivers.
Health Chief Administrative Secretary Dr. Mercy Mwangangi on Sunday announced that the government had introduced a new measure to ensure compliance with the curfew hours in the fight against COVID-19, noting that Kenyans found outside of their houses during curfew will now be assumed to have come into contact with the suspected cases of coronavirus and will therefore be placed under quarantine at their own cost. Diana Rose, Switch TV.